Hello and welcome to another Wolftime gaming video. Today I've got my hands on a ghost mouse for Burrows and Badgers from Oathsworn miniatures. Been really looking forward to painting this guy. I've been unsure how to do it, but I've played around with a little bit with the paints that I've got already, and I think I found a decent scheme. Before we get started on that though, let's get the kettle on. Okay, so the first step is to give it a good base coat. That's obviously after gluing it to the base and basing it with some sort of material. You can add that in after, but I like to do it first and then paint it. You can just add a battlefield basing type stuff you can get from Army Painter and stuff like that on the base if you didn't want to paint any of it, but I wanted to paint it myself. So the base coat I used was Wraithbone from Games Workshop. It's a really good paint, used mainly for, or it's designed to use with the contrast paints, but it's a great paint because it's so thin that it allows all that detail to remain when you spray it on there, and you don't really lose anything. So to get the sort of ghostly feel, I've gone with a Nihilakh Oxide. Again, another one from Games Workshop. It's a technical paint, and it's designed to use with like golds and brass colours to make it look like that verdigris sort of a colour that brass goes in it when it ages. But I think it looks really effective as a ghostly green actually, and I've been playing around with it. I think it's looking really nice. It goes on really easily. Just coat it completely. Make sure it drops into all those recesses really nicely, and you get complete coverage on the whole miniature. I did consider leaving him like this because I thought he looked really effective, just as like that greeny ghostly glow. However, I wanted some of the model to look a little bit different, so what I decided to do was paint the silver areas, namely the sword. He's got a little bit of chainmail around his neck and also the shield, and I really wanted this to look like while he is a ghost, the weapons that he's using are projecting across that astral plane, enable him to fight in the real world, in the physical world, where the rest of him, where he'd actually be quite difficult to hit because he is a ghost, but he's using like real weapons essentially, or projecting real weapons. To darken this down and add a little bit of shading to the silver, I just used Nuln oil, just a complete coat of Nuln oil over all the silver areas. What this did was essentially made it stand out a lot more from the green, and didn't let it blend as much. I wanted it to stand out like it was completely coming through that sort of astral plane, I suppose. So then it was on to painting the actual base, which was started with Rhinox hide. It's a dark brown from another one from Citadel that I always use for my basing, really, because because of it being such a dark brown, it allows you to bring that colour back up to whatever you'd like it. Where if I went quite light, it may not look right, and darkening that down then would be a bit of a pain. So I went with the Rhinox hide, as I always do with these miniatures. And then just to highlight that and highlight some of the areas, just on the edges really, and those raised areas, use Mornefang brown, which is another base coat from Citadel. It just makes it look a little bit more realistic. And around the bases I used the Corvus black, which is black that I've been using a lot recently, mainly because it's like a grey blue black and it looks quite nice. It's not just that block of matte black, and I did essentially the whole base with this one just to make it stand out and frame it, as I've done with the rest of the Burrows and Badgers line. Then it was on to actually basing itself. I could have left it that bare soil. I could put different types of grass on there or anything, but I went with static grass on this, and I just placed it on there instead of using an applicator because I didn't want it to look like it was all nicely neatly mowed. I wanted it to look messy essentially. I just popped a little tuft on there as well, just to finish it off and make it look a little bit different, so it wasn't just a static grass. And I just sealed all that down with the standard PVA glue. Once I left him to dry, that's it, miniature complete, and that's what, 6 paints, 7 including the base coat. It's not bad really, really easy paint scheme, and he looks really nice. I could have maybe highlighted a few of the bones on him, make it look like he was coming through. But I really wanted him to look very ghostly rather than a physical sort of entity that had come out of the ground or something like that. I wanted him to look completely like a ghost who's got these weapons that he's forcing his way through. But thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to see any more, and I'll see you in the next one.